Hi, it's December 24th, 2021, and I'm in Kentucky. I wanted to talk to you today because I haven't in quite some time, and I've been through quite a lot of stuff since I've come here. Where to start? Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight a few kind of little things, because I'm not going to tell you a whole lot of stuff. And there's a lot, but I'm not going to tell you a lot. I just want to highlight a few things for this sort of Christmas message, really, and just to just sort of catch up on, if you're interested, on a few things that I've been going through. First off, when I got here, shortly after, I'd say probably within about 2 to 3 weeks, I became deathly ill, and I literally didn't, there were points where I didn't really think I was actually going to make it. I was really, really ill, and I was here pretty much by myself. Just a little bit on that. No, no, I did not have the big C, and I did not have a big V at all. No, I know what happened. It took me a little while to figure it out, but I know what it was. Now, there were some heavy, really spiritual things that I went through that I'm not going to tell you about. I've only told like really 2 people, and that'll be for not now. But the physical things I went through, which is why I got so incredibly ill, and I still am coughing a little bit, so please bear with me, okay? I'll try not to make it too annoying, and I may kind of like, drop the audio out or something there, because it's not too nice. The long and short of it is that I got incredibly dehydrated. That's what actually happened to my body. I'm from a climate, well, I grew up in Nova Scotia by the ocean, so, take it from there. And my body was really acclimated to that kind of climate. That's where my body was built. Then when I moved to Winnipeg, I found it very dry for the first while, incredibly dry. But compared to Kentucky, Winnipeg is like very humid. Kentucky is, well, let me tell you just a little bit. And you would not think it, because, it's green and all that, but wow. Even now, like when I breathe, the air feels like, it almost feels like it's got dust in it, like sandpaper in it, because I've become very sensitive to the air here. And I've been drinking like water by the gallons, literally. But I wasn't doing that at first because I was doing liquids the way I did in Winnipeg. It didn't occur to me that I was in a totally different arid humidity type thing. But what happened was my body got so dehydrated, and I didn't know that it was happening. I would go to bed, and like in an hour and a half, I would wake up and my tongue would be swollen. My whole mouth would be dried out. Like you could put your finger in, you couldn't find any moisture in there at all. It was dried out through my nose, through my mouth was so dry, like there was nothing in it except total dryness. It was dry right down, like it was dry right down into my lungs. But the thing was that really, like, flipped me out is that my tongue was swollen in my mouth. My tongue would be swollen. So it would wake me up because, well, obviously. And then I'd drink water just to get some moisture into my body. And then my tongue would kind of, go down a bit. An hour and a half later, my tongue would be swollen again and my mouth would be all dry. This was happening like all night long. Every hour and a half, I'd wake up like that. And it didn't still occur to me that I was really becoming incredibly dehydrated. What I thought was, well, it's just very dry here. And I thought, well, I'll go on Amazon and get a little humidifier, which It's on the floor there, but it's now there for my piano. Another story. So when I cough, it's the dryness. It's nothing else. Anyway, so what happened was I got so ill, I couldn't drink anything. I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat. I lost a lot of weight. I mean, I think I put a bit back. I put a little bit back on. Not that I had a lot to lose, but I'm kind of getting more back to, you know, what was more normal for me. But I was really thin, so thin. Like I'd look in the mirror and I'd get scared. I was that thin, but I couldn't eat. And so anyway, when I could actually get up and look in the mirror, like we're talking here about like 3 weeks into this, where I couldn't shower, I couldn't wash my hair, because I couldn't stand up hardly. But I remember the day I got into the shower. It was like the first time in 3.5 weeks. It was like, do you know what that feels like? Try it. I tell you, you'll never like take a shower for granted again. A month later, I got to wash my hair. This hair got washed like last week, and I got to wash it again this week. Wow. Anyway, eventually what happened, the first night, I had a friend here. She was here like a little bit of time, not really very much, but she was here a little bit of time. And the first night she went to the store and she got a bunch of like pharmaceutical things like Tylenol and all these things to, you know, cough suppressant, stuff like that. And I took some of that the very first night, some cough suppressant, and I might have taken, I don't even remember because I was incredibly ill. But I couldn't do it after that. It was just like I knew I could not put that in my body. Like on some level, I just knew it was really the wrong thing to do. So I didn't take anything through any of this. And I'm, we call it vax-free because I don't poison myself. And I'm so thankful I didn't do any of that because it was my, like, literally God-given immune system that, like, you know, we got through this, and it was not easy at all. But my immune system has always been, like, incredible, so I knew not to mess with that. Like, I'm not stupid. But in any case, I remember one time I made it to the toilet, right? I could barely walk. I was seriously really ill. So anyway, I got on the toilet and I passed out. Like I literally went unconscious, and I came to when my head hit the ceramic floor and I had shooting pain in my head. I was on the floor and I passed out and I was on the floor, and the shock of hitting myself on the floor brought me to consciousness, and I was like freaked. And the other thing that I had going on was, as you know from my earlier videos, I had like my back, because my back was in such a state that this weakened my back because I couldn't move, couldn't do anything. My back was weakening all the time. And so I had to be incredibly careful with every single move I made or my back would give out. So I had a few things going on. Anyway, eventually I got so that I could actually, like Dean in Winnipeg, he was on the phone with me a lot, and he would say, you know, honey, drink a little bit of water, just see if you can drink a little bit, okay? And I'll go, huh, okay. So I'd sip it, and I started to be able to get some water in. And the next thing that I was able to do was, of all things, Campbell's chicken noodle soup, home style, because it doesn't have much potassium in it. Campbell's chicken noodle home style soup and water literally, I think, saved my life. Bless Campbell's chicken noodle soup, because for quite a little while, like I could get one of those down a day. In any case, enough about all that. So anyway, I was really sick. But eventually, like as I say, in about the last couple of weeks or so, miraculous like recovery. And it's just every day I've been just like, better and better. Like I'm like I can eat. I've actually been like, I was trying to eat stuff that would just put weight on me first, like, oh my God, I gotta eat some stuff to get some weight on because I look terrible. And I felt like I had no strength. Any case, it's a dryness of the ear, it's why I cough. You can probably hear it in my voice. Anyway, electrolytes too, stuff like that. So I did stuff to, get myself back in shape again. And as I say, it was for the majority of time I was here about myself. In any case, so my house was filled with, the truck came with all the stuff on it from Winnipeg. Like I had all my furniture from my house at Sonning. You've ever been there, there was like a lot of stuff, right? I had a 4-level split and I'd furnished it. So all of that was here, including, obviously my piano. But when I came through all of this, I thought, I just want to get rid of all this stuff. I don't want it. I do not want this stuff at all. And I really, a little bit on the piano story, I thought, I can't take my piano back. I've got to leave my piano in Kentucky. I don't think, and at one point when I was really sick, I thought, I don't care if I ever play again. It's not what's important. What I was finding was important was something else at the time. I knew something was important, but it didn't have anything to do with material things at all. Didn't quite have it honed in yet what it was, but I knew it was love. And I knew it was the genuine connection with human beings that also have that connection back with you and with your frequency, like connecting with people where they're not in your frequency and you're not on their frequency. I mean, you can do it for a little while, but it's just, there's no connection. And it's something that, I believe I can improve at, really, because I truly, as you know from my videos, I truly love humanity. I really do. And I want people to just know the magic they are and who they are and come home to themselves first, Anyway, that's what I actually ended up doing, was I came home to myself on the piano. I thought, well, I don't even think my piano could survive a trip back to, Winnipeg, because she got damaged on the way here. And hopefully I don't cry, because I love her very, very much. We've been together like 30 years and we've been through a lot together, a lot. But in any case, my piano, when they set it up here, when they came, they dropped it. There was 3 people setting it up, and when they flipped it back over, they had a little girl who was like under 100 pounds trying to catch it, and she fell, the piano fell. And a guy, his arm hurt, and I was like, oh my God, my piano. Oh my God. I said, are you guys all right? Oh my God, my piano. Well, my piano, now if I play a key, it just rings, like it won't, the hammers are off. And it all has to be like fixed, right? Plus there's a little gouge taken out of the front of it over here that I noticed like really just a week ago, and I was able to actually dust it and look at it again. So I didn't think that she could survive the trip back to Winnipeg. So I said, I gotta get rid of my piano. I contacted a friend or somebody I knew, not really a friend, but anyway, I contacted her somewhere in Tennessee, and she'd be like, oh, well, yeah, wonderful. But she just kept putting me off, and I thought, no, it's not going anywhere. So I kind of ended that. I just didn't bother with it anymore. And then my lovely real estate agent, who was like, she's an angel, an honest angel from God, I swear. Anyway, she had somebody working with her, and she says she's really interested in your piano. And I said, well, okay then. But then on the day they were supposed to come over, my real estate agent said, like 1-year-old, something happened with him. She had to turn back, so they couldn't come. And that was like the universe, it was their thing, but it was the universe giving me another protection from separating from my beautiful girl here. And so after that was, that sort of drifted away because it was the weekend or whatever. And I came in with my piano, and I just thought, well, I should really wipe the finger marks off her and dust her, and which I did. I'm sorry. I might get a bit emotional on this because My piano's like the best friend. Anyway, bear with me. It's been quite a time. So I got in touch with her and I felt that, like, we're very connected. And I felt the pain that I was having, and I felt the pain my piano was having. Because I thought, well, I don't want to just give her to somebody who wouldn't love her like I do. And I realized that person doesn't exist. So I thought, I can't separate from my piano. So she's coming back. And we had a very tearful reunion. And at that time, she relaxed and she went into peace, which is where she is now. She knows we'll get fixed. She knows I'll heal her. And she's going to be taken very good care of, and she's coming back home with me. And we'll do music again for you, for me, for her. So that's the story on my piano. Now, there was a reason I had to come to Kentucky, and I knew I had to come. Like, there was no doubt about that at all. Not a doubt. Why? No idea at that time. I just knew. I got this message so clear from the universe. Kentucky. Didn't know a soul here, never been here. But something about it was like, I gotta go back. I gotta go to Kentucky. That's like where my home is. My home is in Kentucky. And that's what my other videos talked about it. But I felt that so strongly. It took me a while to get here. I couldn't get across the border for like 3 times. They threatened me, and finally ended up flying, which I was able to get across on November 4th because I flew, which gave me another set of problems. And when I actually eventually got here with going through like the stuff through American protocols in Toronto, like I missed the flight. They canceled my flight from Toronto to Nashville at the time. So I had to like rebook from Toronto, and they put me on different flights, 2 more to get to Nashville, going through like Chicago, and wow, what a trip. Anyway, by the time I left Toronto and went through all of that, I couldn't walk because my back had given out. So I had to be wheeled everywhere. So there it was, I couldn't walk, and I had like my heavy, camera case on my back with my cameras in it, and my bag with all my documents, and like I literally, I couldn't walk. So by the time I get into Nashville, like I was being wheeled everywhere, and a friend met me at the airport, and we drove from Nashville 2.5 hours up to Kentucky. Got here quite late actually on November 4th. And then it was, I guess maybe a couple of weeks later or more, that my furniture all came. And the day my furniture came was when I was starting to get this dryness and the dehydration was starting to set in. And in that interim, I bought a car, which I love her. I haven't driven her in about a month, but we may go for a little drive today later, first time. In any case, the furniture and stuff came, and it was like boxes everywhere, and my furniture and the place was just jammed, and I couldn't move around. It was like not great. So I got after my friend left and stuff. I thought I had a really very big realization, which was I came to Kentucky because I knew it's where I needed to come home. But the home I was coming to wasn't actually Kentucky. It just had to be here, and I'll tell you those reasons in a minute. There are a couple of them that are major, which is why it had to be Kentucky. But the home I had to come to wasn't actually Kentucky. It was, I had to come home to myself, myself, which is not any of those parts of programming and things that one collects that they think are them and aren't. Well, during this whole sick process and all of that, a lot of that fell away because I was going through what I needed to go through that whole entire process of coming home to me, which is what I did. And when that happened, everything started to fall into place. I knew why I was here. I knew why I was on the earth. I've kind of known a lot before, like I've known it a lot all my life, but everything fell into place with an awakening that I hadn't known. What my actual role is here and what I'm doing, I know now. And I know that when this phase of what I'm doing is done, which it will be pretty soon now for here, the rest of my job is in Winnipeg for now. It won't be there forever, but it's going to be there for the next while. So I'm going back to Winnipeg. Long and short story. I'm going to go back in March. This story is, you haven't heard it. There are only really very few people who have, because I've kept it quite private. But now I'm telling you. In any case, what I knew was that I had to get rid of my stuff. And I knew that I didn't want to keep it. There's a few things I'm keeping, like my little table and chairs from my kitchen, because I do my drawing there and I do writing there. It's like my little drawing table. A couple of my couches I'm keeping, and people can want one TV, my smaller one, because I got a place for it, and my bed. That's pretty much it. Well, my camera gear and my video gear, stuff like that. The essentials. And I'm keeping my keyboard, my nice big Korg that I bought not too long ago. The controller I bought, which never even really took out of the box, paid $800 for. All the sound equipment things, big column speakers, my PA system, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, all that stuff I didn't really want. My dining suite, which is quite beautiful. Seats 6 people, 6 great chairs, and another Mac Pro computer and a workstation, all kinds of stuff. My real estate agent, Heather, she has a friend, and her name is also Heather, who I got to meet really last week. Now, the Heather, who's my real estate agent, as I say, she's like an angel. And her friend Heather, wow. Heather has been on a missionary mission in Rwanda for the last 5 years, helping the Rwanda people. And she came back to Kentucky because Heather, her best friend, who had been on a mission in Rwanda for a year, a couple of years ago before she came back, they're incredibly good people and they're doing amazing things for people. Well, Heather said that Heather had nothing. She came back, she had an empty place because she'd come back from being on mission for 5 years in Rwanda. And I said I could give her things for her place. Heather said she would really appreciate that. She has nothing. And she's so good. And when she got back here, what she's now doing, this wonderful, wonderful woman, she's now starting to work with trafficked women who have been trafficked, sex trafficked, like trafficked to produce children for the cabal, like bad stuff. She's now working to rehabilitate and help these women. I mean, how can you not help somebody like that? Like, seriously. So she came over one day last week and I said, this is what I'm giving away. I said, I don't want anything for it. Take it. And she was like, you don't want anything? And I said, no, I don't want a thing. I want to give my stuff all away. I just want to give it away. That would give me the greatest pleasure. So we went around and she went, are you sure? And I went, oh yeah, I'm totally sure. So she's coming back and she's getting, a bunch of my stuff for her place. And the other Heather, my real estate agent, she had an interesting life. Another person who contacted me on a messenger, and she says, because Heather had, told a few people, so I said, don't broadcast this. Anyway, somebody else contacted me, said, well, I'll take a TV. And I looked at the frequency on that and I thought, no, you won't. I didn't get back to her. No, not the right frequency. Sorry. And I don't, no. I'll take a TV. No, I don't think you will. Anyway, Heather had another friend who contacted me again last week, and her name is Cindy. And Cindy is, she works with a group of people in a new church here, a church. And the church is, like she says, not a rich church. And they don't have a lot, but they have this, this building. And I said, well, I have a hutch. She said she was interested in hutch. If you've been in my kitchen, you've seen it. It's glass, and it's quite nice. It's oak, solid oak and glass, and it's quite pretty. My china was in there. She says, I'd be interested in the hutch. And I said, well, it's yours. So she came, and I said, the movers, they didn't bring the glass shelves. You're gonna have to replace them. But that shouldn't be very easy, So anyway, they came yesterday, and I said, I have these 4 gray leather chairs as well. Because she said, anything I had, she was very interested in having. And anything Heather didn't want or couldn't use, Cindy was there with her, and she had 2 people with her. And they were from this church as well. Now this church is a very small, close-knit community of people, very small, who have come together in a community of love and care for each other and for the people in their community in this church. And that's the kind of energy that I just get shivers. It's so totally the frequency that I connect with. So I said, whatever you want. I said, well, I'm taking my little table and my piano, and I'm taking my 2 couches, and I need to take that TV because I got a place for it at home. And I said, anything else? Oh, and my keyboard, I got to keep my camera gear, obviously. Anyway, so they had a half-ton truck, and they loaded that truck. They just loaded it. They took everything. And I started to bring out, platters I had for vegetable dips and stuff. And, one of the ladies, she went, oh, I can use this for my, my Christmas dinner tomorrow. And I said, man, it's yours, And they said, do you want like a tax receipt or anything for this, a donation receipt? And I said, no, I don't want anything. No. I said, I want nothing. I just want you to have it. And they were so grateful, but it wasn't, I was the grateful one. What a gift I was given. I was given such a gift, which brings me to the gifts, which brings me to why I wanted to tell you this today. This Christmas, I was given the most beautiful gifts of any Christmas I've ever had. I realized this last night, I think. I was just so, I was actually almost in tears. I was just so incredibly blessed and grateful for these gifts that I was given. And the gifts that I was given was to give away my stuff. I didn't care, but I didn't want anything back. I didn't want any, nothing. I didn't even want any thank you's fine, don't worry about it, I don't care. All I want, the gift I was given, it was bigger than anything I've ever been given, ever. It was the gift of it was the gift of where we're going as a humanity. And I felt myself ascending even and awakening more to, where we are and where we're going as humanity. I saw it in these people. I saw it in what they're doing. I saw it in Heather, in both Heathers, you know? And I knew they had to have this stuff that they valued incredibly. And what I valued was, I valued just them having it. I didn't need anything else. But man, what a gift I was given, what blessings. I can't even describe the blessings. They are so great. It was my Christmas gifts this year. Best Christmas I've ever had. Ever. This Christmas, I'm here by myself in Kentucky. I'm healthy. You know, I got my piano. She's going to be healed. Now, there's one other reason I had to come to Kentucky. Well, one that I'm going to tell you anyway. And this has to do, it's the banjo story, okay? I don't even know how long I've been talking, but this will be the last story. And I had this banjo. Now, the story on this banjo is that my aunt, who moved to Pennsylvania, well, in the 80s, to be with her third or fourth husband. And she moved into this house in Pennsylvania, and his house. And they found between the walls of that house in Pennsylvania this very old banjo. And so they took it out, and my mom went to Florida to see her, like, again, many years ago. And so she gave the banjo to my mother. And my mother brought it back to, Winnipeg. Gave it to me. Now this banjo, I had it appraised in Winnipeg, like, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. It wasn't worth very much, $800 or something. It was a 1928, I think it's I can't remember the name of it, Velo or Vega. It was a Vega. The reason I know that is because a very beautiful person came here last week, and that's the story. That's the story I'm going to tell you, which was totally serendipity. Like that fell out of the heavens. That was not expected. Anyway, the banjo had originally come from the South a long time ago, and I'm kind of quite psychic, and the whole impression I got from this banjo was that it actually come from this deep South, like Alabama was, thereabouts. And it was brought up in the very early 1900s when some of the black people were, having to get out of the South. It was a very bad time to be there. And I believe that a black man with this banjo, because it had been played a lot, it had been loved a lot. The finger oils were on its skin. And it had been brought to that house in Pennsylvania, which I believe was a safe house at the time, where people would come and they would hide there to be then taken up north to be freed and to be protected. And I think that banjo was given to the people as passage. That's what I believe. And it was put in between the walls of that house. And I get that, I got that so strong. I believe that's the truth. Anyway, last week, I had shipped here all my friends' belongings that she wanted to have brought here. So I did that for her. And last week, she came to pick them up and to take them. And the truck, it was supposed to be somebody else to come and help her bring these back to Nashville. But as it turned out, that guy wasn't available, and this man was. Now this man is an older gentleman from Alabama, and he's one of the finest bluegrass acoustic musicians that I've ever seen in my life. Saw him play a number of years ago. I took a photo of him actually, and it's if I have it on my Facebook, because I don't know my computer's here. If I have it on my Facebook, I may insert it at this point in time. His name's Mark Dooley. And, that man is beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, they loaded up the whole truck and with all of her stuff. And just before they were kind of ready to drive away, I got this intuition. And it was like, I looked at him and said, Mark, do you play banjo? And he said, well, I could play a little bit. And I said, I have something I want to show you. I said, it's an old banjo. So he came in and said, come here. I know that my friend was kind of anxious to get going, and rightly so. They had a ways to go. Scared it was going to rain and stuff. In any case, so he came in and I pulled out the banjo and I opened it up and his eyes widened. He held his heart and he took it out of the case like it was the world from God. And to him it was. He took it out of the case and he held it like reverently. And he said, it's a Vega. It's about early 1920s, he goes. He flips it over and he goes, maple backed. He was like speechless. And he says, I can't take this. I said, yeah, you can, because I'm giving it away. You can have it. I don't want it. It's yours. And he went, I can't take it. I go, yeah, you can. I said, you'd be doing me a favor if you take it. This banjo came from, and I got it, Alabama. This banjo came from Alabama, Mark. Mark's from Alabama. It needs to go back to Alabama. This banjo's heart, soul, and spirit is crying to go back to Alabama, Mark. That's why you're here today. You can take this banjo, it's yours. He held it. He like worshipped it, and the banjo, I have a perception on energy. The banjo, like, it embraced him. It embraced him with so much love and connection. And he was like, oh, I love it. I said, I know, and it loves you. This banjo has waited close to 100 years to go back to Alabama. It had found its way from Alabama to Pennsylvania to Florida to Winnipeg, back to Kentucky, and it's now going home. It's going home to Alabama. Like, that's why I had to come to Kentucky. I had to come to Kentucky because the banjo had to get back to Alabama. I had to come home to Kentucky because I had to come home to me. I can only do it here by myself. It's the only place I could do it. I had to come to Kentucky because the Heathers and I needed to connect. The Cindy and the church needed to happen. That's why I had to come to Kentucky. I know that now. The blessings that I needed for my release from the matrix, full release. I had to go through them, and I had to do it here, and I had to do it by myself. That's why I had to come to Kentucky. That's why I'm here. And then my house, this house goes on the market in January, early. I'm going to do the closing on it for the end of March because I want the time to, to do what I have to do to prepare. I will either be driving my car back by myself, which now I know I can do because I think I'm strong enough. I wasn't before. I didn't think I could do it. Now I know that I am protected, and I've been protected all along, my whole life. And if I drive back by myself, it's going to be just fine. And I will cross the border into Manitoba, and I'll probably do that, I would guess, the very end of March, possibly the first little bit of April. I'm not really sure about that timing yet, but I know I'm going to be out of here at the end of March for sure. Even if I have to, stay in a hotel for a couple nights, whatever, before I head out. But in any case, I'll be back home in Winnipeg and at Clearwater. And Dean and I are I went through we both needed to be apart for a while, which we were. And, but we had to both do our own separate work, which we did. And we've come back to each other with such a bond and such a soul connection that you can't put a value on that, you know? And our hearts are so big. And our hearts are, Dean's heart is so, his heart is so pure. And he is just so honest, and he's filled with so much integrity, and he's so good. We intend to form our community in Winnipeg. It's already starting. We had a number of people who, that I've known, and they've been gravitating to our group, and we're going to have our own community of like-minded people. All are welcome. You just have to be on the right. Thing, which is service to others, care for each other, not the other stuff. The programming doesn't believe in our new world. It doesn't belong in our new world. None of it does. Oppression of any kind doesn't. Anyway, that's all I wanted to tell you. I wanted to wish you just a beautiful, beautiful Merry Christmas. We're celebrating the person, the being, the high godly energy, the Christ, who did so much for humanity, him and his team. They did so much for humanity, and we're celebrating Christ, the true sainted one, Christ, and his love, and our love and connection to this wonderful, wonderful being of light and love, who's, he's there all the time. I just love him. Just love him. Just love Christ. Yeah. Yeshua Emmanuel. Original name. The love that he showed the world and still shows it. The love we feel for each other. The love we feel. The coming home to the beauty of who we are. The magic of who you are. I've told you that before. Heroic and powerful. It's humanity. It's humanity. I love you. You are always welcome in my heart, providing your heart is for the heart of your true self and others, and the love of the great source creator of everything. Your frequency is there. It's all good with me. That's what it takes. So I wish you all the love and the light in my heart and my soul and my spirit. And you're all a blessing to me, as is this incredible Christmas that I'm so grateful for. So grateful. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to share this with you. Thank you for spending the time with me. I feel you. I really do. I feel you right here. Right here. I always will. Always have and I always will.